Many people see procrastination as laziness, poor time management, or loss of motivation, blaming themselves and others for their lack of willpower when they don't keep their New Year's resolutions or find themselves doing the last tasks on the list instead of the most important ones. The reality is that is not, and this is what we are going to demonstrate in this video. Scientific studies show that procrastination is more an inadequate coping mechanism than a lack of willpower. When a person procrastinates, they are avoiding a task that causes emotional discomfort and instead perform an activity that provides a temporary mood boost, relieving their anxiety. This situation ends up being a vicious circle that condemns chronic procrastinators to poor school and work performance and a growing inner discomfort for not being able to fulfill their long-term goals. Timothy Peichel, a psychologist from Carleton University in Canada, defines procrastination as voluntarily delaying something we would do, knowing that procrastination can harm us, either by not carrying out the task or by how we feel about ourselves afterwards. It is estimated that 20% of the population may suffer from chronic procrastination. What happens to these people who become their own worst enemies, leaving for an uncertain future, something they could do now? There is no single answer. The factors associated with task procrastination are generally related to task aversion, perfectionism, and fear of failure. The common thread in all these beliefs is the intense negative emotion that arises when faced with the task. The result is our brain's perception of danger. We already know that when there is a fight between the logical mind and the survival functions of the brain will do what is necessary to protect us and move us away from pain and towards pleasure, so it will trigger the physiological response of paralysis, fight, or flight. Do you mean there is more than one type of procrastination? The answer is yes. One depends on the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the one that slows down the body and paralyzes us in the face of danger. This type of procrastination will lead us to put off an important task to do something more pleasant. The other depends on the sympathetic nervous system, which is the one that moves us to fast and energetic action. Under its action, we fight or flee. In this case, we will do everything on the to-do list, leaving aside the most essential task. It is productive procrastination. What about motivation to get things done? It is a myth that motivation can get you to do a task, no matter how important, if your sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system is dysregulated. Emotional regulation comes before motivation, so don't beat yourself up or blame yourself for feeling like you're not getting what you need to do done. Guilt releases stress hormones that make procrastination worse. Instead, identify if you are in a state of paralysis or fight-flight and practice self-regulation techniques. In his book, Solving the Procrastination Puzzle, Timothy Peichel proposes a set of tools to manage procrastination, starting by having the conviction of wanting to do what is necessary to overcome it. Keeping in mind that it will be a marathon race, not a sprint. The moment you go back to an old pattern, be compassionate with yourself and think that next time you will do better, and remember to reward yourself when you make progress in those tasks that will lead you to improve your life. The key to success is to stay ready for the moment you find yourself looking for an escape from the task at hand. Hear the alarm signal that you are on the verge of procrastination and get going on some aspect of that task. This may involve breaking the task into smaller chunks. When you start the job, you will notice that it wasn't so bad. And even if you don't finish it, you will feel in control and more optimistic as you see your progress. Once you have set yourself in motion, it is essential to have a plan to eliminate distractions. You should turn off the cell phone and computer notifications. Visits from friends with tempting proposals to go out and give you an excuse to procrastinate should have an implementation of intentions, that is, to have an anticipated response that protects you from falling into the old pattern. An example of implementing intentions using if and then would be: if a friend calls me for a coffee, then I will tell him that I am busy and we will go another day. This way, you will protect yourself from wavering in the face of temptation in the future. Hack the need for immediate gratification by doing something easier than what you have to do, planning to compensate yourself at the end of each task. Prepare a set of small incentives with which to reward yourself every time you finish a task you delay. You don't have to buy a car. A hot bath with your favorite essential oil or a delicious ice cream will serve to make your brain relate finishing a task with a pleasant event. Do not start a complex task when you are hungry or sleepy, because the lack of energy decreases your ability to regulate yourself, sleep, and eat well. This will increase your energy and motivation. Finally, procrastination can be a sign of a mental health condition, such as depression, anxiety, or post-traumatic stress syndrome. If you consider that this habit is affecting you in any way, do not hesitate to consult your trusted therapist. In this video, we've talked about procrastination, its characteristics, and some strategies to manage it. If you want to continue receiving valuable content or know any topic of interest, leave it in the comments. Give me a like and subscribe to the channel.